video, you should be able to differentiate between population, sample, and sampling technique. Hello, I am Dr. Mojirayo, and welcome to Learn with Dr. Mojirayo YouTube channel. Welcome. Now, let's get right into it. I'll be talking about the difference between population, sample, and sampling technique. If you have had any difficulty understanding these three terminologies, then this video is for you. Make sure you stay till the end. It is very basic. These terminologies are very basic, but students and researchers still mix them up. And that is why we are talking about it. That is why we are talking about the differences between these three terminologies. Are we ready? Now let us get right into the video. The first one here is population. The first one here is population. Now, let me break it down in simple terms. Population in research is quite different from population in economics or in general, because when it comes to population, when you hear the word population, what may come to your mind is population in population may be to you maybe a group of people living in a country, or the total number of people living in a country. In research, that is not exactly what population is. In research, population is more specific. Now listen to this. When it comes to research, for population is the group of people, the number of people who are relevant to your own research, not just everybody in a country. No, the number of people relevant to your research, the group of people relevant to your research, the total number of people relevant to your own research. Now, let me give you an example so that you can understand. If, for instance, I am researching on customer satisfaction or the customer experiences of commercial bank customers in Abuja. Now, let's assume that the customers all together are 20,000 customers. I mean, let's assume that we have 20,000 commercial bank users or commercial bank customers. Those 20,000 users, those 20,000 customers, they are your population. Those 20,000 customers are your population. Do you understand? Now, let's go further, because in this live video, I'll be explaining to you the difference between population, sample, and sampling technique. And I'll also be giving you questions. I'll be asking you questions just to show that, just to understand, just to be sure that you understand. Now, let me ask you a question. Now that I have explained what population is, let me ask you a question. Now, listen to this question. If I am studying the academic experiences, I know I just gave an example of customer satisfaction or customer experiences of commercial bank users, but I want to use another example now, and then you tell me the answer. Now, listen to this. If I am studying the academic experiences of undergraduate students at a particular university, which of these could represent my population? A, 20 students are interviewed. Is that my population? Remember that population has to do with the total number of people relevant to your research. B, all the undergraduate students who fall within the defined population of my study. C, my 3 friends. D, the students who happen to sit beside me. Of course, the correct answer to that is B, all undergraduate students who fall within the defined population of my study. That is my population. For instance, if you are, like I said, let me reiterate. If you are researching, you are conducting a research on all customers of commercial banks. So gather all of them together. What is the total number of the commercial banks customers? That is your population. If there are 20,000 in number, that 20,000, that is your population. Do you understand? Now let's go further to sample. Sample is a bit more specific. For instance, you have let's still use the bank customers. For instance, you have 20,000 bank customers. What is your sample? You cannot conduct that research on the whole of the 20,000 customers, because you may not be able to reach out to all of them. So the sample now is the set of people that you take out of that population, of that 20,000 customers. That set, that it could be 1,000 out of the 20,000. That is your sample. Remember, population in research is the total number of people that are relevant to your own research. Now, if there are 20,000 customers, bank customers, then 20,000 bank customers, because your own study is on bank customers' experiences, that means you have 20,000 people as your population. But your sample is not 20,000, because you cannot conduct research on those 20,000 people because of your time or probably your resources. Now, you now limit it to like 1,000. Probably you can take 500 from Access Bank, another 500 from GT Bank, another 500 from let's say Zenith Bank, another one from, and you sum all of them up to 2,000. That 2,000 customers, that is your sample. Do you understand? Let me ask a question. I'm not going to use bank as for the question now, but I just want to I will use another example to give you that question, to give you that quick test, to make sure that you understand, to see that you understand. Now, let me test you on the sample. A researcher has a defined population of 5,000 university students, but collects data from 300 of them. The 300 students, are they the population? B, A, population; B, sample; C, sampling technique; D, research problem. The correct answer to that is sample. Because like I said, sample is the number of people that you set aside, that you know that you can conduct a research on, and they are part of your population. So for instance, the quick test I gave you now says a researcher has a defined population of 5,000 university students, but collects data from 300 of them. For instance, that data can be questionnaire, it can be interview, it can be anything at all. So if you conduct interview, or you administer questionnaires to, let's say, 300 people out of the 5,000 of your population that you have, that 300 people is your sample. Do you understand now? Now, let's go to the next one, which is the sampling technique. The sampling technique, you know that we have population, we have sample. Now, what is the sampling technique? The sampling technique is the method. That you use to do what? The sampling technique is the method that you use to select those people that you want to use. I gave an example of, okay, you can take 500 from Access Bank, another 500 from GT Bank, another 500 from Zenith Bank, another 500 from United Bank of Africa. So now, that is your sample, right? So the method that you use to pick those 300 people, or those 500 people, or those 2,000 people, that is your sampling technique. Do you understand? If you understand, give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Give us a thumbs up now. Exactly. Thank you so much for the thumbs up, and thank you so much for joining. Now, let me ask a question to be sure that you understand sampling technique. And don't forget that we have different sampling techniques. We have simple random sampling, we have purposive sampling, we have convenience sampling. It's a lot, and we're not going to dive into that now. Just subscribe to this channel, and in subsequent live videos, in subsequent YouTube live, any of our live streams, in fact, the next live stream, we're going to talk about the different sampling techniques, and I will explain them very simply to you. Do you understand? I will explain it so that you can understand. So now let me give you a quick test. A researcher has a population of 5,000 students. Listen, and that researcher needs to select 300 students. That researcher needs to select 300 students. The researcher decides to use simple random sampling. That simple random sampling, is it a population? Option A, population. Excuse me. Option A, population. Option B, the sample. Option C, sampling technique. D, research problem. Let me take that again. A researcher has a population of 5,000 and the sample is 300. Now, the person wants to use simple random sampling. That simple random sampling is what? Is it a population, a sample, or a sampling technique? The correct answer to that is sampling technique. Simple. Do you understand? Now, I'm going to just uh give you some questions on some of these things so that I want us to put the three together. Now, listen to this. Imagine I have 10,000 postgraduate students within my defined population. Of course, you know that 10,000 represents my population, right? Now, okay, now that's not the question. That's not the question. The question says a researcher wants to study the academic experiences of 5,000 students. What do the 5,000 students represent? Is it sample? A, sample. B, population. C, sampling technique. And D, research question. The correct answer to that is what? Population. Because I have said in this chat that population is the total number of people relevant to your research. And I gave two examples. I gave example that has to do with the bank. I gave example that has to do with postgraduate students. Do you understand? So if you want to examine or conduct a research on academic experiences of postgraduate students, then those, for instance, if you have 20,000 postgraduate students or 10,000 postgraduate students, those 10,000 postgraduate students, that is your population. Now, if you decide to conduct research on 1,000 of them, you're not conducting research on the all 10,000. You are conducting research on that 1,000. That 1,000 is your sample. Do you understand? Give us a thumbs up if you do. Now, next question. The researcher selects 300 students from the 5,000 students to participate in the study. What do the 300 students represent? A, population. B, sample. C, sampling technique. D, research problem. The correct answer to that is sample, because when you select a certain number from your population, that certain number is your sample. Do you understand? Now to the next question. We're just going to have about, let's just continue about 5 questions or thereabout. Now, the researcher, that's question three. That's question three. The researcher decides to use simple random sampling to select those 300 students. What is the simple random sampling? A, population. B, sample. C, sampling technique. The correct answer to that is what? Sampling technique. Exactly. So the difference between population, sample, and sampling technique is this. Population is a larger number of people. It's larger than the sample. So population is the total number of people related to your research. Sample is the selected number that you want to conduct research on. While sampling technique is the method that you use to conduct that research. Do you understand? Now, before we end this live video, our next section, like I said, we'll be looking at different techniques. We have stratified sampling, we have purposive sampling, we have convenience sampling, we have simple random sampling, we have a lot of them. So systematic sampling and a lot. So that is what we're going to do in the next session. I don't want to throw you, I don't want to throw all of these techniques to you today because we're just learning gradually. And if you have been following me, you already know that we have recently published our ultimate literature review guide, and I will pin it in the comment section. So if you want to purchase that book that breaks down literature review to you step by step, that shows you how to write literature review from start to finish, then you would want to buy that book. And if you have issues with academic terminologies, listen to this. It is well explained, simplified. So if you have issues with terminologies like conceptual framework, you don't know the difference between conceptual framework and conceptual review, you don't know what the difference between definition of terms and conceptual review, or conceptual clarification and conceptual review, this terminology guide is for you. And I'll also be pinning the WhatsApp channel to the I'll also be pinning our WhatsApp channel to the comment section so that you can join, so that whatever updates we have, we will share it there. Do you understand? That'll be all for today. And Yes, that will be all for today. If you enjoyed this section, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Don't forget also to drop a comment in the live chat. And until next time, keep learning, keep researching, and keep becoming a better scholar. Have a blessed night rest. Bye. See you next time.